Intelligent design becomes more credible as an explanation for living systems. The more we learn about them, it has become clear that even the simplest of living cells defy the laws of probability. This is because it is very easy to see that just getting the right components exceeds the number of possible events that could have occurred in the universe by thousands of orders of magnitude, Abiogenesis, all assembled as needed to produce a living cell. The only thing that actually holds back intelligent design as an acceptable mechanism for the origin of life is a flat-out refusal by the scientific establishment to allow it to even be considered. In fact, any time intelligent design has made it into a peer-reviewed paper, the reaction has been one of religious fervor against the possibility of an intelligent designer. They literally show a burn the heretics' attitude towards intelligent design. This was despite the fact that one of the incidences was purely a result of a mistranslation between Chinese and English. Frequently, those attacking intelligent design resort to derogatory terms such as anti-science or pseudoscience. These terms are not legitimate because not only do many advocates of intelligent design have scientific degrees, including in biology, but the terms are primarily used as ways of dismissing intelligent design without actually providing arguments against it. Ultimately, this line of argument boils down to, we reject it because it does not fit with our atheistic, naturalistic philosophy. When cells were first discovered, it was not too unreasonable to consider them coming in existence by purely natural processes. This is because when you look at them under optical microscopes, particularly those available in the 1800s, they look like little more than blobs of protoplasm, except during cell division when chromosomes become visible. However, as we have learned about the molecular machinery that is a critical function of even the scent of living cells, as well as the complexity of the proteins that make them up, the notion of a naturalistic origin to life becomes less and less reasonable. In fact, when the problem is evaluated honestly, abiogenesis looks more and more ridiculous. The response that is frequently made by proponents of abiogenesis is the claim that some sort of selective process exists that overcomes the odds it makes a naturalistic origin of life possible. However, this claim is made in the complete absence of a model, let alone a model that can actually be demonstrated to overcome the odds against abiogenesis. If there at least existed a naturalistic model that could demonstrate any chance whatsoever overcoming the huge odds against abiogenesis, then the argument would be valid, but no such model exists. The entire presupposition of a naturalistic origin of life simply presupposes it must be easy, must to produce life by naturalistic means, even in the complete absence of a model, but otherwise insurmountable odds against it occurring. This problem does not end with the origin of life, but the complexity and organized structures involved in multicellular organisms. In multicellular organisms, the DNA within each cell contains the instructions to construct the organism from the proteins that it also contains the instructions to build. The simple fact of the matter is the natural selection is not enough to keep DNA from deteriorating, let alone build up the complex instructions necessary to go from a single-cell organism to a man. Ultimately, the reason why intelligent design is growing in credibility is because the more we learn about living systems, the more impossible a naturalistic explanation becomes. One of the claims that is made is that you cannot conclude design without evidence for a designer. Such a claim excludes the evidence of design as evidence of a designer. In other words, it presupposes that the default position has to be that there was no designer unless you can prove without the evidence of design that a designer exists. In any other field outside of biology, the evidence of design would be sufficient to demonstrate the existence of a designer. The pyramids in Mexico and in Egypt are interpreted as evidence of intelligent designers. If we found obviously artificial structures on Mars, even with no other evidence of Martians, the conclusion would be made that they were the result of intelligent beings. The only real thing holding intelligent design back from becoming a part of mainstream biology is a priori refusal to even consider God. Ideas such as universal common descent evolution and abiogenesis were invented with the express intention of excluding God from the picture, and the proponents of these ideas are going to continue to push them regardless of the evidence. In conclusion, intelligent design has not only increased in credibility, it continues to do so, such that the more we learn about actual biology, the more credible it becomes. In any other area, the evidence for intelligent design would be considered overwhelming, even with a lack of other evidence for an intelligent designer being present in the area. The number one objection to it is an atheistic religious fervor against God. For such people, it does not matter how much the evidence points towards an intelligent designer and away from blind natural processes, because they are past evidence even mattering. However, the evidence in support of intelligent design is sufficiently overwhelming to convince anyone who is open-minded enough to even consider the possibility.